y'all, what's going on? It is BarbMeetsWorld, and we have gathered here today to discuss Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 1. Guess who's coming to the Whitnik? Okay, y'all, but before we get into all that, y'all already know I have to ask you to do one thing for me, and that is like the video. Like the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. Also, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead, hit the subscription button, become a Barb's babe. I would love to have you. Also, upon conclusion of this premiere, y'all drop down in those comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode as well as my commentary. Shout out to the replay gang as always. And if you have not hit the notification bell so you know every single time I do make an upload, you should probably do that as well. Okay, you should probably do those things. And without further ado, here she is. Hey y'all, what's going on? Now, look, I know I am a bit tardy with this premiere, and that is not because I didn't find it interesting, because I definitely did. However, y'all, I got sidetracked. This last week has been super busy for your girl. So super busy with the holiday and everything. So I do apologize, and I will try to be more punctual as we get further and further on in the season. So again, this episode was all about the Whitnik, which, I mean, I see what they did there, and I thought that was cool. They being the Whitmores, being Cecil and Simone, I thought it was so cool. A play on words, if you will. However, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue very well. So yeah, but I appreciate the effort nonetheless, y'all. It has been 35 years since these individuals have graduated from their respective HBCUs. And we did you guys see the Freaknik not premiere, but the documentary they did or whatever? I watched that during the summer. It was cute, it was cool and everything. Obviously, I was literally just born when, you know, Freaknik was jumping off, for real. So much so that in that documentary, I want to say that they said 1994, okay, was the best year. Okay, that was really when they were at the heart, when Freaknik was in its prime. So shout outs to them. Shout out to y'all. If you guys did attend, let me know in the comment section. Let me know. I would love to hear your stories about it and stuff like that. But nonetheless, Cecil's asking Simone who all he invited, or who all she invited, I should say, to the party. And of course, in true Simone fashion, she's like, yeah, I invited everybody who I talked to, who I keep in touch with. Okay, so we already know based on that response that stuff between her and Quad is probably not that good. And 1 second, y'all, let me just explain to you guys that this is the same graphic for the most part. I had a contestant in there. This is the same graphic as last season, and that's only because, y'all, they really be playing when it comes to Married to Medicine. This has always been regarded as one of the best shows, if not the best show on Bravo, and they just do not get treated right, okay? They really don't. I don't know where the budget was, because, honey, like, why couldn't they get new graphics this season? Why couldn't they get a new cast photo this season? Come on, Bravo, do better. So Cecil and Simone kind of go back and forth about that for a second. Again, we know that meant that she didn't invite Simone, or she didn't invite Quad. And she says that although they had left New York in such a good place, Quad began to like fall off from, you know, communications with her, because she must have got down in those comments and seen how folks started to, you know, comment on how Simone was being foul, as because she was, and I'm going to stand by that. And if you don't know, I did recap the last season, so you already know how I felt about how Simone was coming at Quad the entire season, especially when she was there for Simone. And not to say that Simone hadn't been there for her for do certain things, but it's just like nobody holds a grudge like Simone, in my opinion. And I know they said, because if you guys watch the after show or what that whole, Wanna Be Bravo Con, Miami Fan Fest, whatever they had, we got Wendy, Mia, Simone, and Toya. They were holding it down on last night's episode, I want to say. And it was just like, Simone, you say that Quad can hold a grudge. Like, she's good for holding a grudge. But honestly, I feel like that's you. And that's been you. That's been you ever since you felt like she, wasn't treating you as though you were a true friend, what have you. She doesn't really rock with y'all for real during the off season, whatever the reason is, sister circle, whatever it is, not telling you guys about her getting her divorce and stuff like that, whatever it is. I just don't think that it was anything beyond how you guys, like, if Quad has given you reasons, Simone, it's not like you haven't given reasons as well. Everybody on this cast has done their fair share of whatever it is. So the fact that everybody needed to make Quad out to be the bad guy last season just didn't sit well with me, because what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, as I always say. And I didn't see that last season. I really didn't, y'all. Cecil's thing is, if you and Heavenly have fallen out all these times and fixed it, what is the difference between you and Quad? Simone says it's because things between them are superficial, and Cecil isn't buying that this is it between them. Going back to that whole things kind of being superficial between her and Quad. I mean, is it that, or is it like, I just feel like it's something further. I feel like it's something deeper. And I've heard people say that it's because Simone could be actually jealous of Quad. Do you guys think that? Like, what do you guys think that is truly the issue here? I don't get it. I really don't. Speaking of Miss Quad, we pop over to her house. Dr. Heavenly has arrived, and y'all, why did the whole vase break? The whole vase that she brought for the flowers that she brought her, why the whole entire thing break right behind her car in the drive? Like, girl, come on now. My God. Quad says that since New York, it's been like a roller coaster after her apology tour, and she's actually only heard from Dr. Heavenly. And that's probably mostly due in part to what Dr. Heavenly said in her confessional during the scene, which is that they've all done wrong. Like I was just saying to you guys, they've all done wrong, and no one deserves that at the end of the day. Later on, Simone does speak on how she thinks that Heavenly and Dr. Dr. Jackie, they were quicker with their apologies towards Quad and stuff like that. And it could be due in part to the negative backlash they got in the comment section, stuff like that. I could see that. I definitely could. I could also understand how once you and the fact that Simone even saw the season back, I'm assuming, and still doesn't see anything wrong there is just wild to me. It's really wild to me, because although two things can be right at the same time and two things can be wrong at the same time. And I think in this situation, there was a couple things that Quad could have did differently, maybe. If we want to go down the line here, but there's a whole hell of a lot of stuff that you could have did differently, in my opinion, to Simone, including not saying what the you said on that stage last year at the reunion. You divulged personal information that didn't really need to be divulged, in my opinion. And what probably happened was Quad had to hear it from her family about how they had to be re-victimized based on you divulging that information. And you even kind of doubled down on it when you gave your explanation during this episode. And I'm just like, what type of Are you okay, Simone? Like, what is up with you? Like, oh my God. Quad says that Simone did some things in New York that were distasteful. She used the word distasteful. I would have said a worse word. It was foul as fuck. That's what it was. Foul as fuck. Okay. And she needs accountability from her. I don't think you're gonna get it. Quad is a smart woman, so I don't think that she's over there holding her breath whatsoever. But in this situation, I don't think that you're gonna get one from Simone. I really don't. Because even how she's speaking on the Watch What Happens or the Bravo, whatever, how she's speaking in present day tells me that they're still not good. So, yeah. And Quad recognizes that Dr. Heavenly would do the required self-reflection. That's the difference between when things transpire between her and Dr. Heavenly. I guess, y'all. Oh, Sweet Tea and Dr. G. I really, y'all, I pride myself on starting off anew and giving everybody a clean slate every season. But it's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it with Sweet Tea. I tried and I can't do it. The fact that she is, pointing the finger so hard at Heavenly when I feel like she started some stuff. And she bit off a little bit more than she could chew last season. And, it is what it is. And you guys can disagree in the comments. That's totally fine. But I just don't feel like she tells the whole truth about situations. I don't. And, came down here on the show talking about this lady, got you drunk and, so you could spill all your business and stuff like that. You just weren't ready. You weren't ready to be on the show once. And you should thank your husband for that, because he's the one that got you up here looking crazy, downright crazy. We weren't laughing with you last season. We were laughing at you, or at least I was. And I'm perfectly fine in saying that. The whole, being somebody who was in the service myself, knowing how thorough things are as far as medical checkups and hit lists and things like that, I've still never quite understood how you could sit here and say with a straight face that you've been dealing with these issues for some time, to so much so to the point that like it had you down, like periods and stuff like that had you down for the count, for days at a time and stuff like that. Like those things, you would have knew something was up. It's just a lot with her that I just can't get with. And I tried, but I can't. Just the fact that you thought you were going to come on a show and be welcomed with open arms, and you weren't gonna, get hit with any strays or have anybody try you, or hear anything about how you're just moved into, like, literally moved into Quad's old life is what it gave, and you thought that you weren't going to hear about it. Like, that's just naive and stupid as hell, if you ask me, y'all. It really is. Because in real life, that's not the situation that would go well in real life, where your ex-husband's new wife is now your coworker, and it's just supposed to be one big old kumbaya and we're all cool. Spare me. So we had to hear about how it's like, you can't even swim. Like, get your life, girl. Like, and I know plenty of people can't swim now, but it is a life skill, I feel like. And if you can't, please get you some lessons. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So they go over to Phaedra's house, and her son is helping Sweet Tea learn how to swim and everything. We find out afterwards, the conversation that he has with Phaedra, that he's still very much bothered by what Dr. Heavenly said. And what I will say about that is that maybe she didn't have to take it there, yeah, maybe she didn't, but I'm gonna still stick by the fact that Sweet Tea was playing at a game that was well beyond her levels of experience. Let's just say that. Yeah, let's go with that. And Phaedra, you have so much to say about, people hitting below the belt and stuff like that when they're trying to win a fight, and you give this whole like social assessment of Dr. Heavenly and everything like that. And I'm just like, girl, this might be a different show, but we still know that you're the same Phaedra that did that low down, dirty, nasty to Candy, back in the day. Like, North still remembers about that one. So for you to sit here on this show and have so much to say about Heavenly or this person or that person, while still not giving us your real business, I'm gonna call you out on it every time. I sure am. And you sitting here, and I hope, like, Sweet Tea, have you been being all besties with Phaedra lately? Because at the end of the day, I want you to remember that is your husband's friend, and her loyalties will not lie. Well, her loyalties don't lie to anybody, because we're talking about Phaedra. Let's just get that straight. But in this case, her loyalties lie to him. So I hope you're not truly confiding in her for real, or playing her too close. But honestly, given how naive and just how like delusional and just like lost in the wind you come off a lot of times, that tells me that you probably are. It really does. But I hope you learn how to swim. Moving on, Simone and Cecil arrive at the Kimes residence for a hibachi double date night. And Simone says that they're finally cool. We'll see how long that lasts. Have her and Heavenly, I just don't think that they're meant to be like super best friends, which is fine. But I think that they like know each other's role in this social group, in this group of ladies. And they know like when they have to work together and when they can, not work together. That's when the true Simone don't really like having like that. You can't tell me she does. And the times where they don't have to be buddies, we see them beefing. Like, that's how I put it. Honestly, that's how I put it, y'all. The dinner conversation entails Cecil asking about Sweet Tea and Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly responds by saying, you all know that if you F with my man, I'm a F with yours. And you guys might not think it's right. You guys might think that Heavenly's messy, and she starts stuff and she's like the freaking worst addition to this show possible. But she's stuck by a couple things, which one of those things being exactly what I just said. We know we can't mess with Daddy when it comes with her. We also know that she'll do anything pretty much to keep this show good, to be entertaining. She, loves, doing her work on the show. She thinks, this is, the bee's knees. And honestly, it really is to, to us that know. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to this show, so I can't talk, too much ish on it. But nonetheless, she's always, she's always standing behind the betterment of the show and stuff like that. So again, last season was just work, another day at work for her, just like when she goes down and, is drilling and filing on people's teeth and stuff like that. Sweet Tea, however, she took it personal. This wasn't personal for Heavenly. That's another, I feel like, key component here of why we're at this point with them right now. Sweet Tea, you bit off more than you could chew, mama. And now you just have to deal with it. Dr. Damon says that him and Dr. G are still working and mending things, both personally and professionally. And hopefully their wives can get along as well. Okay. And because I'm late with this, I'm probably jumping ahead a little bit here when I say this, but Damon has his independent practice. Dr. G has his thing going on over there. A lot of Damon's patients get referred. He refers them to Dr. G or whatever. If that's the case, and they had, some type of business etiquette, some type of, business, dealings kind of together in that regard, I do think Heavenly could have refrained from then speaking on, Dr. G and his practice and stuff like that, even though the reviews, y'all get a free minute. Go down there and look up the reviews on Dr. G's practice. They speak for themselves nonetheless. But if that's the case, then yeah, Damon, you can't be mad now that he is like being funny. And no, he shouldn't be funny when it comes to patients at all. But I'm just saying, no, he's probably not excited to want to continue doing business, with you in this way. If, your wife is talking about him crazy. I do kind of understand that. I do. And that's not me taking up for Dr. G, because I'm not taking up for anybody, honestly. I'm just calling it like I see it. Dr. Heaven says she's cool though. When it comes to Quad, you, Simone, owe her an apology, because Quad did apologize to all of us in New York. It's just like that's being like completely overshadowed in Simone's mind, I feel like. And that's honestly so crazy to me. Mind you, Cecil's jumping in the back to, have to back up Heavenly, who's, bigging up Quad and stuff like that. And Simone calls him on it. And honestly, I thought that was going to be a bigger issue than what it was. But we can't forget that the men on the show do play like a big role. And I do understand that Cecil and Quad could have developed their own friendship, and stuff like that. So I get it from that angle. But in this setting, I would have been like so annoyed if I was Simone, honestly. But Cecil's willing to is this what he says? Is this, I should have told you guys before that Cecil actually invited Quad. He took it upon himself to invite Quad to the party. I thought it was going to go a lot more left than it did, but we'll get to that part when we get to that part. He actually invited her like 2 days prior. And he's like, it might land him on a couch. And I'm just like, as if you guys really be having sex anyway. Hey, we have heard that y'all really don't even be getting down like that for real. So honestly, Cecil, you just would have been on a couch. Oh well. Anyway, moving right along. Speaking of the party, it is now time for the party. Overall, the party looked cool. It looked like everybody had fun. Some outfits were better than others. I think Heavenly could have not wore the Baps wig. That's for one. Phaedra looked like she was just dressed for a regular day, even though I really liked that orange wig she had on. I was here for it. Jackie looked regular. Simone kind of looked regular too, honestly. Yeah, it was, but overall, everybody for the most part attempted to understand the assignment, minus Damon, who just looked like Damon on any regular day. At least he's true to himself. Okay, we'll leave it there. I loved how they all pulled up in the old schools. I thought that was like a great touch. Dr. Heavenly did say Dr. Heavenly attended a Freaknik. Cecil and Simone have. Jackie said she was always too busy working or, residency or whatever. Who else? Oh yeah, y'all. And Contessa actually, we knew that she was going to be a part of this season, but she actually showed up in the first episode. She showed up in this premiere, and Mama looked good. I can't wait for her to get in the mix with stuff. We know where things left off between her and Heavenly, and they kept it cute enough here at the party, but I can't wait to get into that later on. And honestly, I hope Contessa came back like ready to not play in our faces about stuff, because that's honestly what it was last time she was on this show is her giving giving us all the information we needed to draw a conclusion. And when conclusion was drawn, she wanted to act like she didn't know why this was the case. Like, huh? So I'm gonna need her not to come with that same type of energy, please and thank you. But I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute how everybody came through. Old school's looking good, feeling good, everything's cool, right? Everything was cool until Simone decided to, say some words or whatever. And just as she's saying some words, who other than Quad herself pulls up? Yes, Quad pulls up herself. And in true Quad fashion, she was, late and everything. And as Simone liked to put it, uninvited. At the end of the day, she won't be there regardless because we're filming. So it's like, did you really think that she wasn't going to come? Let's be real here. But honestly, if I was Quad, I would have maybe gave it one attempt in the beginning of the season, and then for the rest of the season, it would have just been like, oh well. Like, I hope she doesn't take to trying to apologize again or bend over backwards when it comes to Simone, because Simone's not budging, and what she did, like I said earlier on in the video, was foul as fuck, and I'm standing behind it. I am. Quad, Toya, and Eugene, they're all good, thank God, because I just don't want to deal. I want to see some new stuff. Like, I don't want to keep holding on to old stuff, even though some of the things that have gone on in the show over the years were, a major issue. Like, they weren't just something that you could just easily get over. I do understand that, but come on now. Quad hugs Simone, but she lets us know that she's only there because Cecil invited her. That's the type of energy I want to see coming from her for the rest of the season. We're not doing apology tours. We not bending over backwards for nobody who don't bend over backwards for us. Let it be that. Then we get this moment between. Don't care about the Doc Scott performance at all. Do you guys care? I don't. Anyway, moving on. We get this whole situation, this whole conversation between Sweet Tea and Damon at first, and she's trying to air out her grievances on everything that's transpired between her and Heavenly. He, of course, is going to have his wife's back through and through, and he wasn't really trying to, hear that. Meanwhile, Heavenly's calling for him, y'all. She's like, Daddy, Damon, that whatever she was saying at the top of her lungs. And Sweet Tea is just telling him how, she felt and stuff like that. And then Dr. G walks up. So it's them three. And he starts to say how he was just, bothered by, or I should say, Damon starts to say how he was just bothered by how Dr. G wasn't, quick to vouch for his character pretty much in New York. And how do you guys feel about that? Although I have my feelings towards Dr. G and towards this person, that person, I will say in that situation, no, we never know. We can never 100% speak on anybody honestly, because we're not with somebody else 100% of the time, 100% of the days on Earth. We're just not able to actually realistically do that. And so that for that reason, you should never put anything past anybody. However, on the reverse side of that too, it's when it comes to Dr. G and stuff like that, it's I don't think that did he understand how it even got to that point? I don't think he does, and what his wife, did to involve herself in that, or getting to that point. I don't. So as they're discussing, Heavenly walks up, and that's just, of course, where things begin to go left. Heavenly starts saying, have your mama come talk to me. Why you talking to my man? Being Heavenly, of course. And the last thing I want to say about all that is we know that Damon, like, he really probably is only involved in the show to the capacity he is because of, you know, Dr. Heavenly or whatever. He does his thing. He has his thing going. He is who he is over here. I would go as far as fetch to say that he doesn't really watch the show. He doesn't really get, you know, intertwined in the mix of stuff, right? Got that. Sorry, y'all. I just got a message. I feel like Heavenly probably tells him, you know, gives him the rundown on stuff or whatever, tells him what, you know, he should hear or whatever, gives him her version of stuff. And from that, he begins to either have a skewed vision on how everything is and what role his wife played in things, or he either that happens or he just is being like willfully ignorant for whatever reason. Like, I don't know what it is, y'all, but either way, I feel like that's playing some role in this whole thing, because I'm not going to say that Heavenly didn't do anything wrong in the situation. I think she could have did a lot of things differently, of course. But instead of him telling her that, because he's the only person that she'll listen to, and it's not to say like she's a dog or anything like that. Like, oh, he's the husband, she's supposed to obey him. Nothing crazy like that, y'all. But I just mean, like, she's the only one he really truly respects and respects their opinion. So if he would tell her certain things sometimes, I do think that it would have a different impact on her. Because now you're upset thinking that Greg is, you know, brushing your clients off that you're sending over there or whatever. And honestly, if he was, again, I don't agree with that from a provider standpoint. But from this type of friendship, social circle standpoint or whatever, if that is happening, then like, what did you expect him to do? Also, it's because, like, well, last time from Greg's perspective, also he might be like, well, last time I checked, your wife thinks that, you know, I'm an ancient freaking doctor anyway, so why are you sending him over? You shouldn't even be trying to send him over. So according to you, am I worthy of getting these referrals? Or according to her, am I ain't shit? Like, which one is it? Like, I don't know. This is a messy situation, y'all. Obviously, this isn't the last that we're going to hear of it at all. Again, I will try to be more punctual with my recaps, my reviews of this show, as well as all my other ones, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this commentary, though, nonetheless. Don't forget to like the video if you have not liked the video thus far. And I will see you guys in the next one, okay?